In terms of hurdles to start the day, I've hit an absolute shocker. We're out of coffee pods. Ah! We have grounds in the freezer, but I can't be bothered to do a full mocha pot because I've already had 2 today and we're falling down a slippery slope if I set myself up with a mocha pot for the rest of the morning. So let's make a tea. Let's be a nice civilized human being and have a tea. I do actually really like these ones. They smell so delicious. These are from brand called Bird and Blend, and they were a collaboration. I'm just waving a tea bag at you. They're a collaboration with Lucy and Yak, which is quite random, but what a great combination. And they're like a tutti fruity flavoured tea, and they literally smell like fruity sweets. Like, they're so delicious and they're really comforting actually. Do I want something that's sweet for the morning though? I'm really overthinking my hot beverage of choice today. Maybe I should just make a mocha pot. We're making one, let's do it. Listen to that sweet, sweet sound. That's coffee pods, my friend. Hiding on top of the fridge. The gods heard my cries. Where do I start? Seriously, where do I start? Things are a little bit different around here. You're probably looking at my background now and being like, where the hell is she? Yeah, things are a little bit different in this room anyway. Nowhere else really. But I'll keep you in suspense for a little longer, shall I? I'm gonna come back to all of this later. But as you can see, the living room's had a little glow up. We've swapped everything around and swizzerooed everything. For some reason, I've decided that today, the day before probably the biggest holiday we've ever been on, I've decided that today's the day to finish the living room rearrange. And now I've got the idea in my head, I just have to make it happen. And I'm gonna set up my like dream bookshelf setup with you later. I thought that would be a nice thing for us to do together. But anyway, I'm gonna do that later. I feel like first, we need to have a good catch up. It's been a while. Hi, how are you? I've been really looking forward to just sitting here and having a proper catch up with you and really, what's that? It's like quite a gross phrase actually, really chewing the fat. Really gonna sit and chew the fat with you today. This is probably gonna be a very chatty, rambly vlog of mostly me just sitting here telling you what's been going on and how life is. Because I think it's long overdue. I will hold my hands up and say I have been absolute garbage at managing to keep my head above water and keep everything afloat at once. I'm doing a terrible job of treading water, and below the surface my legs are fighting for dear life, and above the surface I'm just like la la la. It's been a pretty mad few months for me. I hope yours have been really good though. I hope all is well. Let me know if you've got any exciting news and what's been going on. If you've got anything to share, any good news, check it in the comments. We love to see it. There is one immediate thing which I'm so dying and desperate to talk about with you, and I know full well because I get really annoyed when people do this, like people that I follow and really enjoy their content, when people are like, I've got something so exciting that I want to tell you about and I desperately wish I could talk to you about it and we could share the excitement of this right now, but I just can't share it yet. It drives me mad when people do that, and it makes me so desperate to know what the news is. It actually makes me like weirdly anxious and paranoid, so I really hope I'm not having that effect on you. You might have seen, if you've got me over on Instagram, which I am slightly better at keeping on top of than I am with YouTube, you might have seen a story probably about a month or so ago now, that I basically got the best news of my life, like the most exciting news that I've ever been given. And it was honestly one of the happiest days of my life, I think, which is, you know, such a wonderful, euphoric thing to have experienced recently, and I'm so excited to talk to you about it. It is sending me a little bit doolally on a daily basis, and as far as I know, the last I heard, I will be able to talk to you about it after Christmas, which still feels like such a long way away, but we all know these things come around really quickly, and by the time we get back from our holiday, which is very soon, which I will also tell you about in a minute, it will be even sooner. So I'm doing my level best to keep my mouth shut until then. But the purpose of me feeding you this little like wormy, crawly tidbit of information, which is extremely annoying and so unhelpful for everybody, the purpose of me telling you that is not just to drive you mad and be a little tease. It's to explain that now that it's kind of like getting to crunch time, it's had to kind of be my priority. And that involves very, very long days sitting at my computer, fully entering full-on goblin mode, and that doesn't make for very exciting videos. The next parts of it all I will be able to share more with you, so I'm really looking forward to that. It's just like a little bit of a dry spell for filming at the moment because I'm just doing nothing except getting my head down and sitting like this and just going a little bit crazy. That now leads me on to today, because this morning I have submitted something massive and hit a big deadline basically, and I've kind of come over the other side of that latest big hill of kind of rushing towards something now. So today and tomorrow should be slightly freer and calmer, apart from the fact that I've got a whole lot to do in terms of like life admin and getting my stuff together, because on Wednesday we're going on a massive trip. We're going to Boston. I think because my brain has been so fixated and focused on deadlines for quite a long time now, this trip has really crept up on me. And actually, this is a massive like bucket list trip for me. It's pretty much my top destination. That area of the world, that kind of like New England area at this time of year, that's literally my dream trip right there, tied up in a little orange satin bow, waiting for us to go and live our little autumn best lives. I am trying not to think about the flight because I've turned into such an anxious flyer over the past year or so. Never used to bother me, never used to be a problem. I'm really, really struggling with it all of a sudden. It's come out of nowhere. On the way back from New York, I had a terrible time. It's the closest I've ever come to having a panic attack. I was in tears, couldn't, like, absolutely just went into a weird state that I've never been in before. And so now flying is really scary to me, and I'm really gutted about that because it wasn't something that ever bothered me before. But I'm trying to look past that part and kind of go into a slightly meditative state about that part and look forward to the trip that's on the other side of it. But I'll give you a little outline of what we're planning on doing, I guess. Obviously this is all very subject to change and we're very laid back holidayers and we'll just see how we get on. But we've got like a rough outline for everything we're going to try and squish in. I'm starting to think actually hearing myself talk at this speed, a third coffee was potentially not the best idea for this morning. But anyway, we're going to roll with it. So Wednesday is pretty much just rock up to the hotel, crash for the night, have some dinner, and then we'll be up bright and early on the Thursday to go and collect our car. I will not be doing any driving because I haven't driven since I was maybe 23. It's been 10 years and I was not a confident driver in the first place. And we're going to drive our way up to Vermont, which I can't believe we're doing this. I can't believe I'm literally telling you that this is going to happen because it just sounds like a surreal dream trip. I just can't believe it's happening. We're going to drive our way up to Vermont via various picturesque, beautiful scenery and views through the leaves. That like key time in the year where the leaves change from this like rich verdant green to the most beautiful rusts and ambers and marigolds and just like the most beautiful autumnal fall kind of colour palette. They call it leaf peeping, which I think is the cutest phrase that's ever been invented. Around Vermont for a couple of nights and then we're kind of heading back towards Boston. But we're going to go via Concord to go to Louisa May Alcott's house. All these things that Adam's just like, yeah, all right, And I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe this is happening. We're gonna do a couple of days just exploring Boston City, you know, shopping, wandering. We'll probably do a walking tour. There's so much history there. Then we're also gonna factor in, we're gonna do a trip to Salem, of course. Do a trip to Harvard. Rory Gilmore, eat your heart out. We're going to do a trip to, I think, Martha's Vineyard. We were debating between Martha's Vineyard and Cape Cod, but I think we're going to go for Martha's Vineyard just from recommendations from friends. We're going to do a whale watching trip, and I think that's all the major bullet points. We're just going to see how we get on, but that's kind of like the golden list that I would love to get through. If you can't tell, I'm absolutely beside myself, and this is really, I think maybe saying all of this to you is really kind of turning it into a reality. And now I'm extremely excited. The kind of like little parentheses that I have to put attached to this, which you're probably not gonna like, is that I'm not gonna vlog this trip. I'm gonna do little vlogs over on my Instagram, so if you want to check out what we get up to, it will be over on my Instagram. I've kind of only really been on 2 big holidays together, and they've both been to Disney World. They have been the most incredible trips of my life and some of my happiest memories of all time, but they both were incredibly fortunately tied in with brand stuff, so it meant that I had a camera in my hand constantly because I just didn't want to miss anything, and I cherish those videos as a result. They are so precious to me, and part of me really does want that for this trip, but I am also very determined to kind of be in the moment for it as much as I can, and rather than thinking like, oh, I have to get this on film or that would make such a wonderful shot. And I was the same for New York as well. Like, I was a bit less so because I didn't have the brand tie that I had to kind of be getting the highest quality that I possibly could for. But I wanted to make sure I filmed everything to share with you. And while that certainly has its huge benefits because having the videos at the end is so special, I think for this one I would maybe just have like, I would maybe rather just have like a full photo album of memories on paper rather than kind of see it all through the camera lens. It probably sounds so silly and really annoying, and you just think, oh, get a grip, film. But I think it's the right decision, and I think Adam's looking forward to not having a camera shoved in his face at all times as well. So there will be little mini vlogs over on Instagram, and I hope that's a good compromise. 2 other bullet points that are like jumping out in my head that I really want to talk to you about are, we had new shelves installed, and I think I mentioned it in a vlog at some point that I was thinking about getting this done. Anyway, we went for it, it's done, and I'm obsessed with it, I love it. But we'll get to that bit later. And the other bullet point that I just want to quickly mention, because it was too exciting and joyful for me not to mention it. At the start of October, I collaborated with Lucy and Yak on my own capsule collection. What a casual sentence to just drop into this. All the work that I did with them as kind of part of the partnership was over on Instagram. So this isn't anything that I have been contracted to do. I just want to talk about it because it was such a wonderful experience. It was so exciting. But just to caveat that, you know, this is linked to a brand partnership and I have to tell you things like that. So I worked with Lucy and Yak to put together the Lucy Jane Wood capsule collection on Lucy and Yak, which is, I mean, sure. Each piece was, to me, perfection. Literal wardrobe perfection. Pumpkin pattern dungarees. I mean, come on now. The most beautiful and just like really pretty embroidered cord dungaree dress. It's like a little mini pinny. It's so flipping cute. I get a lot of messages about that now, asking if it's going to get restocked. I don't think there is any plans to restock, but I'm glad that you liked it. There's a burgundy blouse with embroidery on a giant frilly collar. You know I love me some big collar energy. And last but by no means least, there is, of course, a 70s inspired mustard jumpsuit. Literal perfection, and it seems to have gone down really well with you guys. So I am really glad you liked it. It was such a cool experience and I'm absolutely buzzing about it still. I can definitely chalk that up as one of the highlights of the year. There's been a few. It's had its dramatic highs and dramatic lows this year, but the highs have been remarkably high, and that is certainly one of them. The couple of things that I want to do today, I've let my coffee go cold. I knew this was going to happen. Ugh. I want to go to the library and see if there's anything that I want to take away with me, anything that catches my eye, because there's nothing that I'm like desperate to read at the moment, so I was hoping I might spot some titles in the library that really kind of grab my attention. Alternatively, I might just take The Secret History with me because that feels like the book I need to read in Boston. I need to go and get some little toiletries to pack for the trip, and the other thing I want to do is go and get my nails done because I love going on holiday with nice nails. It makes me feel a little bit more put together. Anyway, should we go to the library and go and get our nails done and get into like holiday reset mode? I'm ready. It is no exaggeration to say I have been looking for this card holder for 5 days now. I was starting to think I must have dropped it on the street somewhere, never to be seen again. I've just found it in a coat pocket that I forgot I wore the other day. I literally drive Adam up the wall with how I lose this or my keys constantly. I feel like I never have the two. There is always one of them that is missing in action. Anyway, I've got a new coat that I can show you as well. Actually, I've got two new things that I can show you. The first though is this jacket. Probably wouldn't call it a coat, I would call it a light jacket. Maybe we're in shacket territory. I wanted to recreate outfits from When Harry Met Sally because it's one of my ultimate favourite comfort films, and the outfits that Meg Ryan wears in that film are nothing short of perfection. So I raided my wardrobe to see what I could find and found most of the stuff already existing in my wardrobe, but she wore a jacket like this and I was like, oh, hang on a second, I would love a jacket like that. Simple, obviously, but I really like that it's timeless. I feel like I'll have this for years. Almost like a denim-y feel to it. Kind of feels like wearing a slightly heavier denim shirt, I guess. And then it's got this really nice contrast collar in cord. And it was half price in the sale, so it felt like Meg Ryan would want me to have this jacket, therefore I will keep the jacket. And the other newbie that I have to show you is I got the cord Uniqlo bag. The black one of these that like everybody and their nan has, I have worn every day probably this year so far. It's just what I reach for every single day. I genuinely wear it every time I leave the house. Now I have a backup, and this is just like the perfect colour to take on our autumnal trip. Put you on the chair here. Can I show you that? That's a bit better. It's not very exciting. These are my Levi ribcage jeans. I never wear any other jeans anymore. And there's my new jacket and new bag. Cute. Okay, see you later. Hello. You have a nice sleep in the beanbag, did you? I'm home, I have returned. Errands are complete, although I completely forgot that I was supposed to go to the post office as well, and I didn't get the stuff ready to go to the post office, so I'll have to do that tomorrow. Please ignore the enormous amount of washing that's currently drying in this bedroom. I'm trying to get through everything before we go, so that everything we want is nice and clean. So the house is just literally covered. Every surface possible has something drying on it right now. So 2 options from the library. Oh, I also got my nails done as well. I kind of wish I'd gone for 2 coats of this. I do really like it, but I just wish it was slightly more sheer. She went for a 3rd coat and I think I should have stopped at 2, but I think it's really pretty anyway. It's like a very pale pinky nude, and I did note the name of this. Oh, this was OPI Bubble Bath. Anyway, here's my books. This is the first one that caught my eye. This is called All Girls by Emily Layden. I haven't heard of this. I didn't know anything about it, but for some reason the title just really spoke to me. And then I spun the cover over and saw there was a recommendation from Taylor Jenkins Reid, and if it's good enough for TJR, it's good enough for me. All Girls unfolds over the course of one tumultuous academic year and is told from the point of view of a small cast of diverse, interconnected characters. They navigate the social mores of prep school life and the broader, more universal challenges of growing up. The trials of adolescent girlhood are pitched against the backdrop of sexual assault, consent, anxiety, and the way that our culture looks to young women as trendsetters, but otherwise silences their voices. Sounds right up my street. And then the other one could not be more different, to be honest, but this has been on my list for ages, and I was very surprised to see that it was in stock at the library. This is 6 of Crows by Leigh Bardugo. It's a bit of a YA fantasy kind of vibe, and I haven't read anything like that for a really long time. I think it's basically like a Motley Crue type fantasy scenario, and I've heard really good things about it. I know people absolutely rave about this series. Flo is ready and waiting in her giant cinnamon bun bed to help me with this venture. So you might remember when I was hard at work doing this paneling right here, there was another project that I had in mind, which I had decided could only be left to the professionals. Even my delusional self could not face giving it a try. I watched so many videos about like converting IKEA units and all sorts of things which seem very easy and clever, but even I knew that this was beyond my remit. I basically wanted to give the living room a little bit of a glow up and kind of modernize it slightly and make everything a lot sleeker and more fitted and a lot cozier and fresher. So I wanted to put in 2 sets of bookshelves, and then I had the idea of putting in like a long, almost like a broom cupboard or a coat cupboard at the end for extra storage, because if there is one thing this house is lacking, it is storage. We don't have anywhere to put coats except these 2 hooks here, and a lot of the time it literally stops us opening the front door. I don't know if I took any before footage. That's my bad, I think. I don't think I took any. So you'll have to just rack your brains for how it used to look, but welcome to our new living room setup. This is how we're looking these days, and I'm literally head over heels in love with it. It's turned out so beautifully. So this is the new carpentry that we had done. As you can see, we've now got mirrored matching bookshelves on both sides with lovely cupboards for storage underneath here. Hopefully now you can see what I was going for with the fireplace, because it kind of all fits together now. It's so satisfying to see something like this come together. And then round the corner here, where we used to have the vinyl unit, we've now got a much better use of space with this giant storage cupboard. So I'm gonna have a little go. I'm not really a shelf styling kind of girl. I'm always really jealous of people who have an eye for things like this. I don't consider myself to be one of them, but I just basically want to put all the books on here and transfer my rainbow bookshelf onto here. As you can see, it is overflowing quite dramatically. It's overflowed to upstairs, in fact. And of course, there is only one thing for it. I'm currently on season 2, episode 17. It's actually a day later. It's almost exactly 24 hours since I started putting these shelves together, and it took me much longer than I thought it was going to yesterday. Actually, I worked on this till quite late, and by the time I'd finished, I didn't really want to pick up the camera again. I just wanted to eat an enormous bowl of chili and watch the bake-off. So I thought before I sign off today, I'd pick up the camera again, say thank you for watching the video, and show you the finished result, because I'm pretty happy with it. I think it looks maybe a little bit busy, but I think that kind of suits this house. We have so much stuff everywhere. The ultimate word is cozy, and to me that translates to lots of stuff. Let me do a little spinaroo and show you. Looking at it now, I'm actually really happy with how it turned out. It looks really cute. It took quite a lot of trial and error. I wasn't really sure what I was doing or what I was going for. I started off with all of the books over this side, but that then meant that I couldn't fit any of my cute little silly things on the shelf alongside all the books. I don't know, I like it to just look a little bit weird and messy in an endearing way. So I ended up shifting the white and the black over to here. We've now got the records all up here, the cookbooks are behind the vinyl player here, and then we've hooked up the vinyl player on this little shelf, and I just dotted all our little slightly strange bits and bobs in between everything. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. So we've got a nice little cat watching over here. We've got our flip clock. I get asked about that all the time. That was from Maid. This is a pumpkin that I painted in Centre Parks. We've got the mice from Cinderella, a football espresso cup, because something has to belong to Adam on these shelves. Anytime I have to find a home for anything that belongs to Adam and like have it out on display, because I always feel really bad because it's all just like my nice things and then he just has like boy things for me to try and fit in. And it always reminds me of that bit in the Barbie movie where she's like, Barbie's dream house, not Ken's dream house. And he's like, ha ha, right again. Wanted to make sure that I slotted this in. This is the book nook that I made with the kit that I got for Christmas. I don't know if you all remember that, but it's so adorable. I love this thing, and it's like a battery powered little light setup, and it looks so cute, and it's just like a nice little touch of warm light in the bookcase. This is a little mini vase, which I love. Got a few little bits and bobs dotted around here. My spooky little ghost. My crochet pumpkins, just for some little seasonal decorations. And then we've got the mirror here, which I'm gonna get properly hung, but that's for another day. And I'm gonna get a little battery powered light to put over the top of it. I think it'd be nice to have a little kind of spotlight over there. And then here's the rest. The disco ball, obviously, which I would quite like to hang in this spot here, potentially. For now, it looks cute on the shelf. We've got some glassware, and then the records, the radio, and that's your lot. And that is the finished result. I hope you like it. Let me know what you think. I'm sure it's absolutely not to a lot of people's taste, but I think it looks lovely. I'm really happy with it. So I am gonna sign off because now I've got to pack. Even a day later, I'm still yet to do any packing, although today I did buy some packing cubes, so I feel like I'm entering a whole new era of my life where I'm gonna be this organized, put together person who uses packing cubes. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's so lovely to catch up with you and hang out with you. I can't wait to share some updates and some little bits and bobs over on Instagram. So if you want to see how we get on our trip, make sure you follow me over there. But I will be back post-holiday with book videos and more vlogs. Thanks for being patient with me, and thanks for being understanding. And it's a joy to hang out with you for half an hour, as always. So thanks so much for watching. I hope all is great. I hope you're doing well. Look after yourself, make kind, lovely decisions for yourself, and I will see you very soon with another video. Bye!